Okay, can everybody see my screen? So the first thing is the installation. Okay, so we'll start from somewhere here. What is Django? Okay, the rest of these things I'm sure most of you have already done. So quickly, what is Django? So okay, the first important thing, virtual environment. Uh, does everybody understand virtual environment? Anybody who does not understand virtual environment or has any this thing with virtual has not been able to install virtual environment or something, let me know. Virtual environment, everybody knows. Yeah, perfect, great. So which virtual environment are you using? That is my first question. Which virtual environment? Okay, we prefer these two things. Keep looking in the chat. Yeah, perfect. Ritesh is saying Conda. Perfect. Everybody, excellent. So that's perfect. So either Anaconda or Miniconda. This is what we usually use. Okay, because this is giving the maximum coverage for most of the libraries which we use any which ways. So this is the ideal choice. Perfect. That's great. Perfect. Okay. So when we do this, the Conda, this thing, virtual environment. This is they are using something else. I don't know what these guys are using. They are using something else. So any which way, so the Conda virtual environment which we use, we have to have Python 3.5 or Python 3.6. So best is to have 3.6. Some of our code will run with 3.5 also, but best is to have Python 3.6. So Python 3.6. So for our project, everybody has to have the environment with Python 3.6. Okay, so that is one thing. Ayush, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, 3.8 is okay. Anything beyond 3. This thing is okay. Ayush, you do the Conda. Do the Conda or the mini Conda. There is not an issue. See, the virtual environment is not a bad thing. What I am saying is it's okay. But sometimes you will have issues with activating, deactivating, and things like that. And that virtual environment wrapper can mess up things. That wrapper thing which is there for certain, certain environment variables and all, it might trouble you later on. Is my experience in the past. Even I used that couple of times, but then I quit that because then it became messy. So Conda is clean. Conda doesn't really create too many problems. Okay, so Rachit is okay. Ayush is okay. Yes, Ritesh, 3.8 is okay. That's not a problem. So anything newer than 3.6, we are good. No problem. Okay, perfect. So the next thing what we want to do is, okay, so this is pip install Django. This is okay. If you want to first upgrade pip, that is okay. Then you go ahead and pip install Django. That's also okay. So the latest Django version, even I am not aware what that is, but probably it is. Okay, and the requirements.txt that I have, 1 second, let me look at that. Yeah, I've got 2.26. Okay. So even if you don't do Psycho PG right now, it is okay. It will also run okay on your SQLite, your default SQLite, which is there. On that also it will run. So it is not such a big problem. In case somebody has any issues with installing Postgres or Psycho PG right now, don't worry about it. Even on your basic SQLite, most of the things will run for now. I'll let you know if there is something which we are not able to run on SQLite. Uh, uh, yeah, but see, my issue is this: in case you are not able to install Postgres, yes, there will be an issue, and that will be this. When we so this part of it, yeah, the database part of it. Uh, this might, this will be an issue because I have used Psycho PG, and within the code also, in many places within the code, I'm again, using. Uh, yeah, so there's a lot of Postgres here. So there's a lot of Postgres right now. So all of these things might not work for you. Okay, so okay, maybe initially just to learn, maybe next 1 or 2 days you use SQLite. Otherwise, you will have to install Postgres, and you will also have to install your Psycho PG and other things. AK, the one which gets installed in the blog which I've shared, that is SQLite. So the one on the blog is SQLite, which comes by default. We want to install Postgres, and we also want to going ahead install MySQL. So both of these we want. Rachit, no problem, no problem. Don't worry. You will get the recording. You can talk to me on call also later on. Don't worry. Yeah. So okay. Now so this is the Django installation part of it. And, so when you do this Django admin start project, you have to do 1 second. Let me confirm the name what I'm using right now. Uh, I think it's DC Proj or something. It is this DC dash underscore Proj. So basically what we'll end up doing is So this will create our project. So it will be Django admin start project DC dash underscore proj, and then there is a dot over there. So this is the initial structure you should get. You will get a manage.py. You will get DC underscore dash underscore proj, and you will get the settings.py. So the settings.py is what I'm showing you over here. This is our settings.py. Right. Yeah, that's right, Rajshri. You're getting that error because you have not been able to create a database in. So what you need to do, I'll tell you. See, uh, to avoid this error, initially to avoid this error, you will run your project with SQLite only. Okay, till the time your Postgres gets installed. Let's say once your Postgres is installed, then you go and create a table yourself on the Postgres, and then you will have to create the table with this name and the user by this name. So one second, I'll tell you, I'll explain to you. One second. So this part, which is from line 152 to line 161, you can comment this out. You comment this out, and when you are looking at any fresh Django project, so there'll be a SQLite part of it, which will be here in the database in the default. You use that. You don't have to use this straight away. You can use that. Okay, just to understand Django, you use that. Then in a day or two, what I'll do is I'll somehow again, another call like this. Once everybody is little comfortable with Django, then I'll let you know, all of you, as to how this will actually run and how you will create it in your SQL DB and things like that. Rashri, is that okay? Has everybody understood what I'm trying to say? So to begin with right now, just practice with whatever is on this blog. Okay, don't worry too much as to whether our project is running on your local machine today or not. 1 or 2 days only, just practice and understand what is Django, what is happening, read through that blog, read through few other things. Monday or Tuesday evening, again, we will do a call like this. I'll help all of you install our this thing with our environment and everything, and whatever issues come then, we will sort out those issues. Don't worry. Asaf, can you confirm that you have understood what I'm saying? If everybody has understood what I'm saying, please put a yes in the chat. Yeah, perfect. So right now, don't worry too much. All these things are simple things. We can cover in another half an hour call or something on Monday or Tuesday. You need not worry. Till then, you just understand what is Django and how things are working. Just make that basic project run. And if you have issues with the basic project, then you reach out to me or you Google or whatever needs to be done. Perfect, perfect. Don't worry too much. Okay. Now, this urls.py that we see over here, this urls.py, this is the main urls.py, in the sense the project level urls.py. So I'll just show you this file and what happens in this file. So by default, you will get admin. By default, you will get admin. And once you create another app, so you'll you'll have to go ahead and add the URLs for that app over here. So by default, this part is by default. The admin of Django, it itself is an app. So the admin part of it, the administration part of it, of Django, that itself is a app on its own. Okay. So we will come back to this. We will come back to this in a few minutes. I'm just explaining. So this manage.py, they say, is the script that helps with management of the site. Okay, so this manage.py, some time back, actually Rashri sent me a screenshot, which, because of some reason, his manage.py had gone ahead and shown him some, default help options and things like that. This manage.py will be used for many, many different things. It will be used for running your server. When we run the USGI mode, when we run it in production, then also this manage.py will be used. It will also be used to create migrations and collect static and all those things. Many things will be used. So all those uses we'll see later on. Don't worry, we will do that. So right now, just understand this is a very, very important file for our web server. Settings.py I've already shown you. I just showed you the settings.py. This settings.py, I just showed it to you. Our own settings.py, in which you saw the database details and everything. Okay, so this is, again, they're talking about changing the time zone and all. Right now, it doesn't matter for us. When we go into production, we'll do that. Right now, whatever is the default, we can run with it, not a problem. This is the static directory. So what I have in the project right now, I will just show that to you. If anybody has any questions, you immediately post them in chat. Okay, don't wait for key. Okay, we'll ask it later or anything. Just immediately post it in the chat so that you can understand what is happening. Okay, so this first thing that is there, media URL. Media is any kind of file. It is not. Okay, wonderful, Rashi. That's great. That's great. So see, the media is any kind of file which okay. See, you should go to 127 dot I think 0.08000 is what the default is. So this is the local host. Yeah, that's correct, Ritesh. So this media is basically where people will, the media URL is the URL which is used when our end user is uploading some files. The server he has probably started, that's okay, don't worry. Rajshri, you can see the welcome page and now. Okay, I think it's working for him. And are you running our code or are you running the blog project? Rashri, you are running our project code or the blog project? Okay, so in our code, I remember you could see that forms.py is hit and all that stuff that was printing on your terminal. So that is okay. So besides that, what are you? Commented out database is okay. Don't worry. If you go to that page, what is it that you're seeing? Are you seeing anything in the terminal? Are you seeing anything in the this thing? Can you share a screenshot on my WhatsApp? You share a screenshot on my WhatsApp. Let's see. Okay, so till the time Rajshi shares the this thing screenshot, I'll just go ahead with this, the media part of it. Okay, and then there is a static root and static URL. So static is basically the content we already have. So there'll be different things in static. There'll be our CSS, there will be JavaScript in our static folders. So from there we can serve that. So that is one thing. And some of these comments are for there are few changes that we have to make for Nginx. For static and media and other things. So some of these comments are for that. So this you don't have to worry right now. Once we do the deployment and production, that time we'll think about this. Okay, the next thing that we will do is now we will create an app. So okay, in this case, allowed hosts and other things, we can have our local host. This is our local host, and they deploy this on pythonanywhere.com. So they put that also. Let's say if we are deploying on AWS or somewhere, then we need to have the the public IP of the droplet. Sorry, droplet is that DigitalOcean. We need to have the public IP of the EC2 for AWS. So that is it, allowed hosts. To maintain security. Otherwise, if we say asterisks over here, then all kinds of traffic from will keep coming to our development server. We don't want that. Okay, and this is the default. So the default is SQLite 3, and in place of Postgres, if you were to keep the default, this is the default. Now, this is the initial migration. So what is basically happening is that when this SQLite is almost like a file. It's not necessarily like a a database. It's like a file that will download on your system, and it is also used very extensively with Android. So people who are doing Java and Android development, they will know SQLite very well. So what is happening over here, whether it is SQLite or it's any other database which is there, when you do the initial migration, so for these applications which are default applications which are there, admin, auth, content type, and sessions, it will go and create initial migrations, and it will also go and create initial tables. So if after doing this initial migrations and everything, if we want to see what kind of tables got created, that can be seen. So there is a now I'm forgetting what that command is, but if you run that command, it will dump in a .py file the entire structure of your DB. Okay, so now this is how you basically start it on the default port. So otherwise, if you want to change the port over here, so this will start on 8000. You can change it to 8080. That can be done. this is the default, and this is the page that you'll see as the welcome page, the blog. This thing in our project, you'll have to go to one of the URLs to see something. Otherwise, you can't see anything. On the default page, you can't see anything. Rashi, can you send me a screenshot of what you are seeing, that 500? And did you go to that URL I shared? What are you seeing on the URL now? It has not come to me. Okay, no problem. We'll see that later. Not a problem. Okay. So this models and all we can see later on also. I don't want to use too much Django models. I want to create directly tables in SQL, and Django model we will not use for many things. So it's okay to understand what it is and things like that. Some place we'll use, but we'll try and avoid. In the current code, yes, there are at least 5-6 models which are there. I can show that to you, but going forward, I want to remove all of that. So these are all some kind of temp models that I'm using. So temp table name, temp dataset name, temp this, temp that. Then this is some this thing that I'm just using to get input from front end from the user to our Python code. So from JavaScript, some input is coming. We are just saving it. This is also again temp. So this is not too many models are not required. You will see this is also existing comment over here. So this is my pending one of my pending tasks. I want to change this. I don't want to keep this model. I want it directly uploading directly in this without Django models being involved. Okay, so all of this I have to change. All of these things I will change. We will not be using much of Django models. All of this we will directly do in SQL or MySQL or without going through the Django model. So that is the plan. Okay, so now this is creating an app. We already have apps created in the project right now. So basically there are two apps right now. One is the DC app, and the other one is that is digital cognition app, and the other one is the churn analysis app. So churn analysis I just created day before yesterday only. And earlier there was one app called the this thing Python Trader and others which were there in the same project. Now what we will do is we will create separate projects for them. So all of that I've commented out. If you look at the settings.py, I've commented out all of this. All this is commented out, and this one I just created I think yesterday or day before yesterday. And this is the main app, the digital cognition app. Again, so again I've just put a comment over there that I'll change this. I'll change it later on. I'll change the name and all that. But for now, this is okay because earlier I was doing something else, so I kept this name. And this is very old code. This is almost 2 years old code now. So I have not changed much in this. So after yeah, so once this app is created, then you will get all these admin apps.py, models.py. Models we have already seen, and views.py. So the most important thing over here is the views.py and how it is being used. That we have to understand. Any questions? Anything? Rashri, where have you sent? It has not come on my WhatsApp ना. आपने कहाँ भेज दिया screenshot? आपने मेल पे भेजा क्या मेरे को? Don't worry, we'll come back to that. Improper configuration. Yeah, I am coming to that, Shashwat. There's a separate urls.py for the app and everything. I'm just coming to that. 1 second. Okay. So like Shashwat is saying, that's correct. There is no urls.py over here. So we have to create our own urls.py for each and every app that we create. See, if you look at this, this is for the path for DC. So it will include within DC dash this thing app, it is including a file called urls.py. So this urls.py will not exist. So for this also it will not exist. So we will have to create that. So if you look over here, it will be at the same level as the models.py. Okay, so this file has to be created for each and every app. So the project directory, the app directory, and within the app directory, the urls.py. Okay. And all of the URLs for this is quite a big file. Okay, this has got some old code which I don't use now. So maybe all that I have to delete. I have not done that. So this is all old code is also here. But this is one of the main files for this again for this app. So whenever we do this, let's say I pick up this SQL action. So what will happen is we'll do this on the local this thing. Okay, so this is how we'll reach that, and this SQL action will go and hit a view. So what view will it hit? It will go and hit this view. So drop table PSQL view. Okay, so it's defined in this views.py. Okay, so if I go to it's showing me what line it is defined on. So drop table PSQL view, whatever is there, that is where this will lead us. And also if I were to look at this, then I can see where it is being called. Okay, it is being called in one of the templates. Okay, no, this is sorry, it's not being called in one of the templates. There's a reverse URL in models.py which is there. Yeah, so this is where it is. It's actually a reverse URL within this get absolute URL for drop table. So again, there is some pending Jira against my name over here. So I can't see that right now. How to? Why am I not getting a scroll bar? Okay, any which ways. So I'm just trying to explain some of these things to you. All of this code I'll explain. Don't worry. You don't have to worry too much about it. And most of this code I have to change also. So we will change most of this code together. You will end up understanding most of the code, Shashwat. That is okay. You don't have to worry about that right now. Okay. Uh, then the next thing is, so once we've created our app, we end up adding our apps over here below installed apps. Now over here in our settings.py, in this settings.py, uh, the installed apps have got a certain this thing. Auth comes on top, then sites, then registration comes here. There is some issue in case you put registration up or down. You have to place it between admin and auth. There is some loading. Otherwise, there are some loading issues because registration requires something from auth and things like that. Okay. So this is some earlier issue that I had, because of which I had to do all of this. And for this project, the registration and the auth, you will see that if you go to the top level of the project, okay, admin copy for GitHub, GitHub in the sense to check it into Git. So that's just an auth for GitHub. So all of these will be slightly different from what will be your default Django. So I've changed some of the code, and we might have to change even more code in this to ensure that the authorization and all, sign up and other things. There are some admin approved URLs and other things which are there. So all of those things we require. So there are some changes here. I will explain all these changes to you later on. Right now, it doesn't really matter much. Okay. Yeah, because there is no, see, it is saying improperly configured at admin login, because settings.databases, you just commented that out, but you need to put the SQLite part back in. So that's okay. Don't worry too much about it. Yeah, exactly. You forgot to give the default database. This looks like the same, this thing from your terminal. Yeah, okay. On the root, there is nothing. So if you will do, just the root, it will not give you anything. So you have to do DC in front of that. Once you do DC, then you would have got the errors above. And this is so this is again some comments that I put for testing earlier to get my Nginx configuration directories and all that. And this we need not worry too much. Yeah, again the same thing. Please supply the engine value. It is asking again and again. So that's okay. Don't worry too much. That's because you've not configured the database. It is like that. Okay, so the installed apps, like I showed you, they are there in our settings.py. These are the ones. This we've already seen. So creating a blog post model. So models are simple stuff. So there's nothing much here. So whatever you will put over here, this will get created as your let's say very simple columns in your SQL DB. That's all. Nothing much to it. And So these are there defining different kind of fields which can be defined. We will not use much of this. We will directly define our fields and everything in SQL. So it's okay. You can read this, but it is not very, very important for us. And this again, the migrations which are running, so they will create the so you will make migrations for a particular app. So this is the app name, you are making migrations for that. And then when you will run the migrations, your database will be created for that particular app, the migrate blog. So you have got the database which has got created for the blog. Okay, now I will stop the recording for a second and I will start it again. Otherwise, it becomes a very large this thing file.